Ready? Big breath. Close my eyes. Yeah, beautiful. What do we have here? Hard to do with one hand. Get up there. Get in there. Come on. All right. Up here in the Mount Hood National Forest, checking out a new place. I was told that there's tons of dispersed up here, and I've just found one. It's cool. I just got to figure out how to get the van in. I'll show you how it's laid out. I got to back in so I can get back out. I've gathered all this beautiful wood on the way up, and that's enough for a couple nights or a big rager. So yeah, I came up here, and this is the site in here. So we've got to come down and back it in. Back her in here. Really cool, micro, tiny little site. It's awesome. I love it. And then it's going back into the woods here. Oh, that's warm. Yeah, that's warm. Somebody was just here. Look how cool. It's some sort of a... There's lots of snowmobile trails up here. It's a snowmobile park. Or they allow snowmobiles during the winter. I wonder if that's what this is. Beautiful. So I'll be able to hike and explore back there. Look for water. Beautiful little site. So yeah, I just got to flip Blue around. If you don't know, my van is named Blue. 1989 Toyota van, Miracle. Beautiful creature. So I'm gonna flip it around and get in there. I almost smashed the camera. That's what happens when you have... See, I've got the curtain here. I can't see anything. You just go on faith. That's it. You're going blind, but you just, you know, use the side as your angle, as your reference. You know that, you know, if you go past these bushes down here, you're in trouble. And if you go past You know, if you hit the trees, you know. So she's a little to the left, obviously. But actually, I love sleeping in the van because the bed's here. I'll show you. I love it to the left because I roll and I sleep along the wall. I just love it. So I think that'll work. That's the trick with these. It's easy to get them up there. Getting them down can be a little challenge. Yeah, I should have known better. See, I'm out of shape camping. You got to line them on the side so you can use leverage and flip them out. If not, they move around. Beautiful. Okay, I can't even wait. Look at that. There's a nice piece. You got to see what this looks like. It's always a mega bonus when you get something like this that's got a trail. Yeah, I bet this is a snowmobile trail during the winter. Because we're in the Mount Hood National Forest. Yeah, we'll explore this. I mean, that's as far as the eye can see, that trail goes down there. Some old trees in here. I mean, look at that guy. You see that? That was a fatty. Now, if you follow my channel and watch my videos, you know I have the system. Whenever I get to a new spot, and the system never changes anywhere you go. Okay, so basically, while I'm in the vehicle and I'm pulling in, I'm scanning with my eyes to see if there's someone camping in there. If someone's camping, the rule is, you know, etiquette, you don't bother them, just keep on moving. Don't get out and say, hey, how long you been here? How is it? When you leaving? Don't be one of those annoying people. So if there's people, okay, so I came in now and I scoped it out from inside the vehicle and then I said, oh, it looks good. Now I'm also scanning for animals, and the animals up here that I'm looking for are mountain lions. So just a quick scan, you know, this is all while I'm in the vehicle. Before I get out of the vehicle, I'm gonna make sure that I have my bodyguard. Okay, and that can be something like this, or it can be something like this, a good big fatty bear spray, you know, fat big like this, not the little tiny purse ones. And it could be, you know, one of those things. Whatever it is, you guys are all over the world, it's different laws for different places. Then I'm getting out of the vehicle and I'm looking. But I know that I have a bodyguard, I have protection, something to defend myself with. I'll look right away for something like this, a big long stick. This is about 5 feet long, thick, sturdy. This gives you distance, and in self-defense, distance is the key, right? Once someone gets close to you and they get hands on you, that's where it all goes bad. So with this, I got 5 feet to get somebody away. Get away, right? Water bottle fell. Or if there's a mountain lion, this gives you some distance. It's the same with anything. A human, a mountain lion, you got a chance. Okay? I don't know how much of a chance, but it's better than this, because now there's no distance. There, that mountain lion's going to get right on you, or that person's going to get right on you. So first thing, I look for a nice big stick. Maybe I put one on the left, one on the right, one in the front, one in the back. Depends on how paranoid you want to be. Okay, I've got out. I've checked everything out. I feel safe. Okay, great. The first thing I'm going to do is Alamo. If you've heard, I call it Alamo, and that's just some sort of cover. Okay, so if you're backpacking and you've got your thing, so you get out, set up your tent first, set up your tarp, cover. I call it Alamo. It's a home base. Because where we are, we're in the Mount Hood National Forest, and you can see it's sunny, beautiful, and then dark, ominous clouds, and it was sprinkling on the way in. And my point is that even if it's 99 degrees, summertime, I'm going to set up an Alamo, because I've seen it change like that. And there's nothing worse than being caught with nowhere to hide and nowhere to put your stuff. Now you're drenched. That can put you into a life or death situation, because now you're wet. And when you're wet, you get hypothermia, right? Hypothermia sets in. You never want to get wet. So we want an Alamo, some sort of cover. And luckily, I have blue. This is my cover. I can jump right in here and just wait it out. No problem. So we've got bodyguard, Alamo. Then I'm going to be setting up always my cold weather gear. I call it pajamas. It's what you're going to make it through the night in, sleep in, even. Because, again, it's beautiful right now, sunny, yay. The minute that sun goes down, it's cold, and you're going to get cold, and your whole goal and mission is to keep your body core temperature regulated. So you don't want to be all nice and happy, warm, and yay, and it goes down, you don't have your stuff, ooh, you just lost all your heat, right? Now you're cold, now you're struggling, you're fighting to get back, throwing on everything frantically. So you want to have everything prepared. So for example, I'm going to have in one place, that's the key. Lives in one place. It's not in this backpack. It's not in the back over here. It's not in the bag here. It's not in the trunk. Everything's in one place so you can get to it. So in this place that I'm going to go to, right at sundown, okay, sound the alarm. Ding, 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 ding. Sundown, let's go. Wool hat. Fleece hat. Wool socks. Wool scarf. Wool sweater. Headlight. Make sure the headlight is in this kit, because you don't want to be looking for the headlight without the headlight. It's the ultimate, right? It's the ultimate oxymoron. You got to have the headlight. So make sure the headlight is with your kit. Woobie pants, or some sort of a snowboard pant, ski pant, whatever it is. Always bring something like this. Ski pants, snowboard pants are great. Woobie pants. Base layer. And there you go. Look at the clouds just came over and it got cold real quick. Base layer pant. Right? A merino wool or synthetic base layer pant. Microfiber top. Synthetic fill puffy jacket. And there you go. So because it's all in one spot and ready to go, I've got Birkenstocks on. That's what you hear farting. Because I don't have any socks on. And I'm walking around, it's going. Anyway. So, that's what you want. You want your cold weather sleeping pajama, whatever you want to call it. Night gear in one spot with the headlamp. Very important. Then you can go, boom, you get it on, you're good to go. And speaking of these darn tough socks, I want to talk to you today about socks, and specifically Darn Tough Vermont socks. Now, if you know me, you know I've been dealing with cold feet my entire life, and I've tried everything. A friend told me about the Darn Tough. I've been wearing them every day for 6 months, and I love them. What's also incredible is that they have a lifetime guarantee that you get a hole in them, they'll send you a new pair. You try them, you don't like them, they'll give you your money back. They're also made in Vermont, USA. So you know I love supporting United States made products. If you go to darntough.com and you use my code, I do receive a small portion of that sale. So go to darntough.com at checkout, use the discount code that you find in my description below. If you don't like them, you can return them, but I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna love them like I do. As you can see in that 10 minutes since we were talking, I've thrown on the fleece and the fleece hat. These are both U.S. military surplus. You want to pick these up, they'll say Polar Tech inside. Get the Polar Tech fleece stuff. These jackets are like 25 bucks. These I think are about 15 bucks. Good gear. I'm just organizing the van. What's great about this bed and the way it's set up, you know, now I'm uphill this way, so you just flip the bag around. No problem. It's just so simple. Still kind of a disaster in here. Just minding all my garbage. Keep everything together, your garbage. Don't let it go crazy, because it'll go crazy. It's like a gremlin. It'll just keep growing. Got my Jackery. Had sun the whole way, so 100% charged off the roof solar while driving. That's beautiful. Got my fire maple jet boil. And, oh, there's some old 7-Up in there. New thing of 7-Up. This is my toilet. Pee bottle. Got my Grail. 32 ounce. My ashtray, but I'm trying to quit smoking, so don't touch it. There you go. So I'll just flip this around. And I think I was saying before that I like it tilted. I purposely park like this because I like to be smushed into this wall. I don't know why, but I do. It's my Alice pack. It's my garage. You've seen all that before. My shovel, recovery tracks, emergency wood. Here's all my tools and road recovery stuff. Over here, I had to dump some stuff out. It's my little cooler because I don't have my system together right now. I will here in another week once I'm back at the storage to get it. It's bins, 2 big bins, real heavy duty ones that contain everything I need. They live right here on the bed. When I pull up somewhere, boom, boom, they come out the back. When I'm ready to go, boom, boom, they go back in. None of this chaos. Wanted to show you this. Having a doormat, you'd be shocked how crucial it is. Okay, what are you doing? This is a great situation for me to show you. I just walked out here back up to the road because I was checking my phone. There's no signal. It's on satellite mode, which is a new service. Starlink teamed up with T-Mobile. So I got the T-Mobile iPhone and enabled it. So when you're outside of cellular range, you're supposed to be able to use your phone to hook up to the Starlink. And it's really cool. You find the sky and then it launches this little thing and it says turn left, turn right, stop, hold, and it's literally connecting to the satellite. And then you can text. All right, so I'm going to show you what you can get if you're living in, well, if you have a vehicle. This is a little luxury item that you can easily carry with you. If you're backpacking it, it's probably not something you could bring, you know. But anyway, I'll show you what it is. It's old technology that's new again. Okay, here it is. Behold, the Sony DVD player. Do you remember these? This was state-of-the-art technology when I was growing up. This was a big deal. But that's it. It plays DVDs. Has a power cord on the Jackery. It only draws, I think, like, well, not only. I think it was drawing 15 watts. So it's not huge, but it's definitely a luxury item. I got this, you know, go to Goodwill. This was Oh, I'd say probably, $3. Electronics are 59 cents a pound. And then I just went through and found a cable that would fit with it. And then you go through and they have giant bins of movies, DVDs. So I just grabbed a bunch of, random title. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, yes. Looking for kindling for the fire tonight. And it's endless in here. It's incredible. But I was going to show you, the basic trick, which is you're always looking up. Okay, so for example, here I see this pine that's down here. So this has fallen and it's been on the ground and you can see how it's bending. Okay, so this is real wet. This was just alive, so that's not gonna burn. We want to always look up. So for example, here you can see this tree. Beautiful. Wow, that's way up there. Now, I don't necessarily want to go around picking trees apart, but this is just to illustrate the point. So say this was a fallen branch that's hanging in the air, okay? Well, as it's hanging here, it's getting convection, right? So that means the air is, circling around it, right? Convection. And air is, it's blowing through it. It's drying it. Even if this is snow, rain, wet, this stuff is going to be snap, crackle, pop. That's what we're looking for. Always the test is snap, crackle, pop, right? When you break it, see that? Snap, crackle, pop. So if it doesn't make that sound, you're dealing with wet stuff. For example, if you found this, and same thing, I'm gonna snap, crackle, pop. No, it's just, completely bendable. See that? No snap, crackle, pop. So that's what we're looking for. For example, look at this one. He's sitting up. He's up off the ground, okay? So he's been drying. And it's gonna snap, crackle, pop, right? Snap, crackle, pop. That's what you want. So always look up. Look for things that are up off the ground. Up, up, up. So here I'm looking into this tree and I can see a beautiful branch that's stuck in the tree. So I'll show you. I'm gonna grab it. So it's here. It's gonna focus on my hand. See if I can get in there and get it. So I can see it sticking up. I saw its ass end sticking up here. See this? Sitting up in the tree. And so since it's been up there, it's gonna snap, crackle, pop. This is when it's beautiful, when you're in a forest like this that's so thick. I mean, this was, if you can see this was 2 minutes, maybe, just scavenging. I mean, that's just a blessing. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. All that's like a minute. That's how much debris is on the ground here. Which is a good thing for us right now, but it's not a great thing for forest fires because that's all just tinder and kindling, right? So that when it's in here thick like that, that's when it's drying out, it's just a very volatile, dangerous situation because that stuff goes up like, fire, fire, fire. Look at this big boy here. See if it looks punky. Yeah, that's fully punky. Look at that. This is great if you got a lot of bugs. We'll grab some of it. Throw this punky onto the fire. If you can get a big chunk of it, and it just smokes. What is that? Yeah, this is just like balsa wood. Look at that. Anyway, this punk wood, yeah, I mean, this whole thing, it probably weighs, it doesn't weigh nothing, but it's super lightweight. But you'll see I'll throw this on there, it'll smoke. It's a great, for mosquitoes. You smoke it because the smoke that comes off this is a natural bug repellent. You know, you ever taken a smoke bath? Use this punky wood or wet wood or pine needles, boughs like this, and you just smoke, and you get in it and cover yourself in that smoke, and it's a natural bug spray, bug repellent. Beautiful in here. Yeah, look at all this stuff sitting here. It's always tricky with a tree, you know. Do you know, is it really dead? Because you'll go along and see it just like this. You go, oh, it's dead. And you come around the side of the tree and then it's looks the same, but it's growing. It's still got leaves in it. And you look up the tree and it's still got green coming out of it. So I don't mess with that stuff. Unless I know it's dead, like you look up to the top of the tree and it's gone. You know, it's dead, dead, dead. Unless obviously it's an emergency, then you're going to be grabbing, you know, whatever you can, whatever you need to survive. Oh, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to flip this around. It looks like a antler. Look at that. I mean, that looks like an antler, but it looks very alien. Like a skeleton. Oh, look at that. That's ready to just fall right off. Yeah, depending on what kind of herbal concoctions, natural concoctions that you're taking, you can see how things can look very otherworldly. Yeah, so the rule is, up in the woods, anything that's on the ground here, right, you're not supposed to be picking that up, right, to take it once you're inside the forest floor, because all of the decaying wood is part of the ecosystem, right? It falls on the ground, and then via nature, it breaks down, and it gives bugs and snails and grubs and all these things that live in it. You know, it's all part of the ecosystem. It's all part of nature, right? It is a natural thing. So you're not supposed to be taking a single piece of wood off of the floor, the forest floor. Or you definitely, if you get caught cutting down a tree out here, you're getting a big ticket. You can see, you know, you never know, because the way these work, it's prison crews. They come up here. They're prisoners that live in these work camps that are up here. And 6 days a week, they work in these forests. They're the ones that clean all this up. So was it them or was it someone camping here? I can see, you know, chainsawed trees. But I've been many times. You're camping and you pass somebody and, you know, they're a ways away, but you hear the and you can hear the trees falling. You go up there and they're cutting down trees right here. See those 3 trees? They're falling that tree. Boom, boom, boom. So the one time it was years ago. Past the guy, go, hey, what's going on? You looking for wood? You know, because there was a bunch of wood in the road, because that's really basically the rule of thumb with the rangers. Oh boy, we got to go look at that. It looks like there's a giant tree down in the road. Big tree. We're going up there. I just caught a glimpse of it. Anyway, if it's in the road, like if that looks like it's blocking the road and you have a saw and you cut it up, that's your wood. Those are the rules. Technically, I don't know, but anyway, so I stopped with this guy and I go, hey, you looking for wood? I go, because there was something like this, you know, there's a bunch of wood. Oh yeah, dude. I go, you know, you can't be cutting the trees down. And these are in dispersed sites, but they're established. They've been there for years. I go, you can't be cutting down the trees, man. He goes, oh, fuck it. You know, I've been coming up here my whole life, you know, cut down the trees. I go, well, you know, if you get caught, you're going to jail, because they will bust you. Because obviously, It's not a big deal to be cutting down trees. You know, you can do the argument, you're helping it, you're thinning it, you're taking care of it. It's out of control. The more tree, you know, there's the whole argument, which a lot of it I agree with. But the thing is, at these dispersed sites where they've carved these out for people to use, well, they just keep getting bigger. Does that make sense? You know, the site's this big and it's got its nice little trees and little camp, like this kind of thing. Well, one person comes, they take down 3, and then another person. Well, there's tens of thousands of people every year that are coming up to these sites. So if everybody's cutting down a tree or 2, pretty soon you're going to have a dispersed site that's like a football field. Make sense? Yeah. I think this big boy's right in the middle of the road. Check this out. And sure enough, that's what's happening. It's like somebody made their own little campsite here. Look at that guy. Talk about some wood. Now the difference, to get this guy down, you need a real saw. Right? Look at this guy. Looks like somebody grabbed some here. Look at all this usnea. Old man's beard. Very powerful for cleaning. Toilet paper, wounds. Beautiful. And this guy's, he was dry. But I can see up here, little baby pine cones coming off it. And here, oh, look how old that is. You know that each year is each ring is a year. I mean, that's just, how could that be? That would make this tree, you know, hundreds of years old. I don't know about that. Is that the saw that made those marks? That seems like too many. Ooh, look at all this. So it was one tree took down another tree, looks like. Well, this is a lot of work. This will take a, you know, crew, an entire day of a full prison crew to clean this up. Let's see what we can see down here. Oh yeah, so this was a big, it keeps going. I don't know if you can see it down the hill. You ever heard one of these crack? There's another one. Must have been bumped by this one. And there we are. Look at that. I didn't even know. You wouldn't even know. That's just a great, beautiful little stealth spot. You can see the van in there. You see her? Be a great spot if you were in a tank, right? You could completely ambush. Everything in my mind is always war since I was my entire life. Everything I look at, I'm looking at it from a war, right? What position you're in, ambush, World War II is my big thing, Vietnam. In my mind, I'm saying, okay, well, if they were here and they were coming this way, you know, you wouldn't want to be on that side, you'd want to be on this side, and which way would you point the vehicle? But then you got to get out, the egress, that's how my mind is always thinking. Temperature's dropping. So you can see there's no sun. It went, and the temperature dropped like that. Icy. Icy, as I say, icy. So I came over to my spot where I have all of my cold weather gear in one spot. That's the key. You should be able to get all this on in about a minute. You know, right now. No looking for things. So everything is right here. So I came over, got my base layer, right? Synthetic pant. And you can see I added the wool cap on top of the fleece. And here's my headlamp, right? Because it's going to get dark real quick. Now I'm going to put on my booby pants. Basically, it's a pant liner, I think is trouser liner, I believe is technically what it's called. And there's a video if you want to see, if you go through my stuff, where I sew on the suspenders. I don't sew the suspenders on, I make belt loops. Real simple. Anyone can do it. It's on there if you search for it. Wooby pant. So I got my woobies on, and now I'm putting back on the fleece, military surplus. I'm going to put on my second pair of wool socks, my Darn Tough, which you saw how much I love them. And that's the key. And then I'll come back. I don't want to get, it's not cold enough right this second to put on this synthetic filled, puffy. But it's right here. I know where it is. It's right here. So when it is time, I know where to go, and that's the beauty of it. So I also added my wool scarf. This is a U.S. military surplus wool scarf. You can get them, now they're like 20 bucks. But it is literally probably, it's like one of my favorite pieces of kit, because I wear it in, just normal clothes all winter long. I've always got it with me. It's super lightweight. And I'll show you the model. If you want to get it, you can get them on eBay. And now, like I said, they're 20 bucks, but see if you can see. You see that? What does it say? Scarf neckwear wool. What you want to look for in the pictures is that it opens up. See? It's a tube. See how it opens? So you can put your hands in here like this. So now you've got hand warmer. It's just a beautiful, beautiful scarf. Zero itch. I've had multiple of them, only because I've lost them. But this is probably one of my favorite pieces of gear. Highly recommend you get one of these. Yeah. Get out that base layer, pull it down. I'm sure you know how to dress yourself. The only thing is just loose, real loose. Don't make it tight. Don't pull your socks up so tight. Or strap your shoes so tight, your boots. Air, that's how you stay warm, right? The pockets, your clothing, and your shoes and everything, it traps the air, and that's, your body warms that air, so you want loose, right? What I wanted to show you here was what I do with the chair. If you can pick it up, can you see that I put a wool blanket down? This is a U.S. military 100% wool blanket. Now, you know that if you watch my videos that I go to the Goodwill bins. So these are there nonstop every day. It's just incredible. Because I'm paying maybe, you pay by weight. So this is like, I think these are $5. If you try and buy a 100% U.S. military official real one, now they're about $100. But you can get all different countries. So the German ones, the Polish ones, the Italian ones. Just make sure you want, if you can get it, 100% wool. So the trick with this basically is just that I've got my little chair, and here obviously we've got, wind, airflow. So I just take it, kind of split it. I don't want it getting dirty on the ground and, possibly wet. But there you go. I've just created, I've blocked the wind, right? Simple little thing you can do. Plus, that convection, if you sit on this without anything on it right now when it's cold, your butt's going to be freezing real quick. Trust me. So a nice wool blanket. A lot of times I'll just take the scarf and I'll fold it like this so I get more surface area. I'll put that down. If I'm somewhere and I don't have a blanket. It's when I do that is when I'm out somewhere, right? And they've got a patio set up and freezing. I've got my scarf and I go, oh yeah. I take it, 100% wool, fold it over, put it on the seat, I'm toasty warm. Anyway, that's just a good tip to block that wind. You'll be a lot more comfortable. Let's make our little punkwood fire. Remember I gathered that punkwood? And I was saying that you can make a punkwood fire, creates a lot of smoke, and it's a natural bug repellent. You take a smoke bath. You literally get in the smoke and just put it all over you and your clothes, and we can even throw some wet pine bough on it. You're kind of basically making a bad fire, right? You're kind of choking it. And anyway, so to start off, we always have our raft. Okay, that one's a little fat for a raft. Basically, we're just taking, you know, a couple pieces of wood, putting them down, and creating a little raft, you know, a wooden raft like this. And see how it's got space in between each one? Well, that's gonna give it room to breathe, right? We want convection, oxygen. Because with a fire, it's called the Hof to Hobbit system. It's from Lonnie at Northwest, or Far North Bushcraft. Lonnie, the legend. Lonnie and Connie, up in Alaska. Far North Bushcraft and Survival. Ultimate. You want to learn bushcraft stuff? Check out Lonnie and Connie. So, we're putting down a raft. We've got our punk wood, got our wet pine, and I've got some cotton balls here. Look at that, the sun came back. All right. I was hoping it would. I mean, it's only, you know, mid-afternoon. Cotton balls and Vaseline. Save yourself money. Make them yourself. Just take the cotton ball, get a nice dab of Vaseline on it, and then pull the cotton ball apart and just kind of work that Vaseline in. You can buy the pre-made ones if you want, but you know, this bag of cotton balls was $1 at the dollar store, and this generic Vaseline petroleum jelly was $1 at the dollar store. So here's 100 cotton balls and this big jar of Vaseline. You got 100 fire starters. All right, so we'll put this down here. Now we need our tinder, right? Tiny little babies. We call them pencil lead. Super, super thin. The smallest little things you can find. Let's grab a bunch of these. Snap, crackle, pop if you can hear it. Basically what we're going to do is create a little teepee kind of fire. Right? Oh, those are no good. Some larger ones. There's our snap, crackle, pop. We're going to build kind of a little teepee over this. You know, you can take two bundles like this in your hand, then you can kind of, you know, lay them like this over it once we get it going. So I'll put that to my right. I want to know where everything is. So I've got my raft down, I've got my Vaseline infused cotton ball down, I've got my tinder to my right, I've got my punk wood here. It's just like cooking food. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, everything is a system. So you know your condiments are here. This is, you know, when you're working on a line, it's all about the planning. Take the time to mentally map it out before you do it. So I've got my knife and my ferrocerium rod. I'm always going to be mindful of where this is. In this situation, I'm just running it, you know, bare, naked like this. In a real survival situation, this would be tethered to my body with a dummy cord or to something. So that way this can never get lost. So we're just going to throw a spark on this Vaseline infused cotton ball. When you throw the ferrocerium rod or pull it, you can see here I'm pushing with the right hand, the knife, right? When I'm going to hit something like this, I want to pull with the left hand, okay? It's called the lawnmower. You know, when you pull a lawnmower, you go whang on the whang, right? So you're basically getting it in line with that cotton ball, and I'm just pulling back. Got to get rid of some of this black. When you get a ferrocerium rod, it'll be coated in this black paint, basically to protect it. You want to get that off there. So it's silver. Then you'll get a good clean pull. then I need to stand up. I'm going to use my ankle as a support here. So yeah, I'm putting this and it's called, what was this called? The wedge? I can't remember. I made up some name, but it's just a technique, right? So I'm going to pull, right? I'm going to do there you go. So now our cotton ball's going. I'm going to be real mindful of my ferrocerium rod and my knife, okay? That cotton ball is going to burn for a couple minutes. So we got time. I'm going to put it back in its case and secure it with ferrocerium rod. Put the knife back in its sheath and secure it. Because we've got some time here with this Vaseline infused cotton ball. I'm going to reach to my right and grab my two little, the twigs are messing with it. But you can see how easy it is to work with. Because it's petroleum. I'm going to start building my little teepee. All right. While that's going, I'm going to grab a little bit more from our pile over here. You know, I've got time. I can see it's going good. I'm monitoring it. I want a little bit more. So what we're doing, so we're basically trying to create a base, get this going. Then I'm going to do the same exact thing with this punk wood. Right, I'll start with 2 pieces. Right, come back. I'm trying to make a teepee. And this is the fun part. You know, there's nothing more fun than building a fire. It's the most tribal thing for us as humans. We're so far away from it now, but it's why fire mesmerizes you. It enchants you. It takes you to a magical place. Because millions of years ago, this is what we did. This was everything. This is how we protected ourselves from the animals. This is how we could see. Later, people learned to cook on the fire. Then they learned to make things, forging metals and irons and stuff with fire. They always... Oh, could you hear that? I hope it picked it up. It's wet. Or I just nuked a grub. Something just screamed. I've had fires talk to me for hours and hours and hours. If the wood is a little wet, or if there's grubs in there, they'll, they're screaming, basically. It sounds horrible to say, but especially wet wood. It'll steam, go, it'll talk to you. High pitched, I can't really do it, but amazing stuff. It'll freak you out. It sounds just like a person. But the fire is magical. Too, if you could smell right now, ooh, that's intense. So this is the punk wood, and you can see it's smoky. If this was good dry wood, it wouldn't be smoking like this. But I want it even more smoky. With the punk wood, one of the techniques that I learned a long time ago, oh yeah, I can see off the punk wood the steam. It's steaming because it's, drying itself out. But the whole theory was to take these, get them going so they're burning, then these could be placed around camp. I don't like that because now you're outside of the fire pit, you forget about one, it gets out of control and you got a bad situation going. So you're really gonna see it when these pines get going. Right, this is wet. You can see it's no snap, crackle, pop, right? This thing just came down. There was a little snap, but I can feel the moisture. So what I never finished with the Lonnie and Connie for North-Bushcraft, you have to have it. which is heat, oxygen, fuel, right? Heat, oxygen, fuel. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not as wet as I was hoping it would be. You know, I'm basically trying to choke the fire. I'm trying to deny it oxygen and put on wet stuff. Let me see if I can find something else that's wetter. Okay, I found some more of that punk wood from over there. See if we can get this stuff to smoke. I don't know if you can pick it up. I mean, it's smoking. But I was hoping that pine bough would be, real wet and it would smoke. You know, sometimes, like I'm saying, the hof to habit it's the triangle of fire, right? So hof to habit, heat, oxygen, fuel, HOF, right? And so I'm trying to starve it, basically. Meaning that I'm taking away the oxygen. It's definitely smoking. You know, I'm getting there. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but I'm taking a smoke bath. You know, you play with it. That's it. You know, you want yourself and your clothing in this smoke, and that's a natural bug repellent. It works too. I mean, I've done it. And it's a beautiful thing when you get home out of the woods. Everyone who sees you and that's around you is just mesmerized. You've been in the woods, you went camping, campfire. You know, that smell, everyone knows it if they've ever been camping. Grab my knife. There you go. From here, you can really see that smoke now. I think. Ready? Big breath. Close my eyes. Yeah, beautiful. There's a bunch of little chipmunks back here. They're about that big, spotted. They come out, they're gone. But I thought one might be sitting right here. The chances of you getting, you know, critters and birds on film is very difficult because they can hear you and smell you. That's how you know if you're ever in the woods and you hear all the birds, right? And say you're practicing, there's one. Oh, you're practicing, you know, maneuvers like military stuff. That's the situation. Anyway, and you hear all the birds and then all of a sudden there's no more birds. That means that there's danger. There's somebody else out there. Oh, he's up here. Anyway, maybe I'll get lucky. I got a bird. You saw it before. Oh, there he is. Oh, God. I'm going to go over there and see if I can see him. He's in there. See those holes? See the holes? Look. Right in there. He's in there. That's his house. Yeah, obviously he's not going to come out if he hears me. Right? They haven't lived for millions of years because they're stupid. Oh well. So I just was handling all that punk wood and just wood in general. And now I gotta go to the bathroom, take a pee. And so I highly recommend to everyone that you, oh, where'd it go? Must have got bumped. Let me look back here. There it is. I highly recommend to everyone, boys and girls, that you wash, if you've got the water to spare, rinse your hands off, or at least take, liquid hand sanitizer and get your hands sanitized. Because if you would have touched poison ivy, poison oak by chance, or just some of the woods you'll have a reaction to, you do not want to be going to the bathroom and touching your privates with that on there, because I've seen it and it's happened to me. If it gets on you, down there, you're in a world of hurt. Oh, you've seen what happens when it, you touch your eyes and they go like, insane. Well, it does the same thing down there. Anyway, make sure your hands are clean before you go to the bathroom and, touch and clean yourself. Here's a find up here. When you're looking for fatwood, when you find a stump, where it's broken off, at the bottom of that stump, the bottom of the tree, that's going to be all fatwood. That's all its blood, right? So if you ever want the fatwood and you find a stump like this, I'll show you. Like this. This one's all punked out. But you could break this stump up, just chop it up. But here's a mega stump here. And it's the right color. So we're going to find out. See that bright red? It's almost glowing. If I had to put my money on it, I'm going to say that this is going to be smelling like pine sol. Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Woo! That's intense. That is pure fatwood. I'll take this little piece back. There's enough fatwood for you and 25 other people to have enough fatwood for the rest of your life. Yeah, right here, this is fatwood. And that does, it smells, it's pine sol, so it's definitely got some resin in it. But you can see this is, dry. I've had this for years and years. It almost looks like candy. I don't know what candy I'm thinking of, but sometimes you'll get it and put it in the sun and it'll glow. That makes sense. You'll see it like honey. That's what I'm trying to think of. It's honey. There'll be like honey, like that you get from the bees. Honeycomb, and it'll be transparent. Anyway, we'll see what this guy does. But I'll put this guy in here. I bet there'll be a big fiesta. Yeah, you can see that take off right away. It's pure. And there's the smell. So pine sol 101. I just burnt that whole big piece because I've got tons of it. But there's a way to get a fire going. I mean, look at that take. I wasn't really trying to keep this fire going because it's way too early. But you saw that one little stick. It's probably about a foot long of pure fatwood. Went up instantly. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll see what this other piece does. And look at that smoke too. See that black smoke? Can you pick that up? That's the fatwood. walk down the path behind the site. These trees are huge. Look at that root ball. And the sun's back out. Yeah, I wish that you could see. I mean, that's a root ball. That thing's as big as a house. Amazing. I'll try and come around the other side of it. The ground is so soft with duff. You know, just all of the pine cones, and it's like soft, like a beautiful pillow. Man, these trees are massive. It's hard to show, you know, but I'm 6 foot tall, so if I was standing at this tree, I'd be about that big. Let's see if we can get in back here. So you can see this root ball. It's literally, I mean, you see it? It's massive. I'm always in my Birkenstocks. It's the ultimate camp shoe. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Somebody's living in there, guarantee you. Can you see this thing? It's massive. Don't want to disturb him. If something's in there, that's not good. You can see this fire is, you know, it's smoking, but there's some coals and everything. I wasn't planning on keeping it going because, you know, it's like 5 p.m. So I usually wouldn't start a fire until way late because you're burning resources. So the only reason to make a fire during the day would be for, you know, maybe the bug bath, right? The smoke bath. Or you're just having fun. You've got people, that's part of it. So you're gonna make campfires. Yeah, it's exciting. But for efficiency, you're not gonna make it until just before the sun goes down if you're gonna use it for, you know, light. Anyway, so I was gonna let this just die out, get another one going later, but I was gonna show you when you've got a fire that's compromised like this, where it's just smoking, but you still got coals, embers, whew, we can just play with it. So you want a good pair of leather gloves, because we can pull it apart. And the truth is, I do it all the time without any gloves at all, but you do get bit. You do get burned. So basically I'm breaking this fire up, but I've got coals here. So I'm gonna remake kind of a mini lean-to here. If we can get her going. I needed to have oxygen. All right, and right away you can see that just by manipulating the fire, these are all too fat. There we go. You know, I'm just playing Jenga, basically. I just want to show you that the leather gloves, you can see how freely I'm moving in there. You know, if you leave it in for a couple minutes, it's gonna cook. You're gonna have, you know, you're gonna have steak because it's leather. But just by moving those around, you see I brought that back to life. And then I could, put a big boy over it again. And that big boy right there is wet. So really, we're just kind of drying it out. Hear it? Can you hear it squealing? When you hear that squeal, it means it's wet. Here's a piece. Anytime you see a piece like this that somebody left behind, because when they leave, they'll break the fire and throw this outside of the fire pit, which, I don't know, doesn't make a lot of sense. You don't want to take this that's burning, because I'll see people, you show up and they've taken this piece, right, that was burning, this guy, see, and they just throw it into the woods out there. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Because you just threw this burning piece of wood into the, you saw all that, it's thick. All the duff, that whole ground floor of the forest, I mean, that's, feet and feet and feet thick. And that stuff, pretty soon, another couple of weeks, will be dry as a bone. But I've seen the forest, those prison crews that I saw, that I told you about, that's their MO. They come up to it, and they just, throw them all out. Bad idea. Anyway, this has already, been burned, so it's charcoal. It's going to burn. There, what else we got? See that? No. Don't like it. Here's a nice little piece. I'm just playing with it. I'm playing with the fire, but we get it going again. I'll show you a trick you can do with any kind of a hat or a scarf or anything. Take this scarf, right, fold it over, then I'm just going to spin it, like a wheel. So we just infuse that with a lot of oxygen. That'll get any fire, kicked back up. So another great reason to carry the scarf. If you had a cowboy hat or any kind of, something, you're just spinning it so you're not wasting your breath. And your breath is wet, right? Because we're water, so that moisture on your breath can affect the fire. Now tonight when I make my fire, see I've got these really long pieces. I'm not going to even cut any of these. You don't really need to do that. If you've got the fire lifted up, you see these rocks. Those are 4 inches tall, right? Well, you can use those and simply take the entire piece. This is, 15 feet long. You can literally just lay it into the fire like this. Getting smoked out here. And it joins the party. And just like if you would cut it, it's going to burn from, this end to right about here. And then it'll naturally, you may have to pull on it a little bit, but it'll just break. So all these pieces, you just, push them in. Does that make sense? You make like a cross. It's actually, the Native American fire that I know is the cross. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're elevated a little, and you just keep pushing the tips into the fire, and it burns the tip. And after the tip, this is all burned, you just take it and move it up. Right? So with any size wood, it works, as long as that it's, it's got to be elevated. See how it's up? So there's never any problem. If you don't have a saw or something, you can just make that kind of a fire. Now this is interesting. I just remembered I had this. If you saw my video, it was a couple weeks ago where I was at a working security, and there were these trees on the property. Beautiful. Ty Valley, Oregon. And they had giant pine cones on them, so I'm saying they were pine trees. And if you watch the video, it says festival security, summertime. Anyway, I grabbed, they were all, oozing out this sap, this resin, this pitch. So I grabbed a bunch of it. I mean, look at that. And I want to just throw it in here, and it smells same. You know, it's the pine sol. I don't think I can cut this with one hand. I wrapped it up in a burrito wrapper. See if I can do it. Come on, Maura Garberg. I bet it will do it. Maura Garberg is very sharp. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. You can make this and sell it. It looks like some sort of a part of a fish. I just wanted to smell what it smelled like when it burns. So I'm gonna put it right here. And that's just solid pitch. You're gonna see it's an accelerant. So you could get any fire going in the rain, cold, nasty. I mean, that stuff will, you know, that's like gasoline, basically. Even better. Ah, I can't smell them all stuffed up. But free accelerant. Beautiful. And I checked that piece of wet fatwood that we got from that stump. It's gone. So it burnt up. But I just don't think it. You saw the fatwood that I had in the garage of my van. It's been in there for years, it's bone dry. And you saw in this video when I added that in there, instant, just like this pitch resin that just went up. All free, all from nature. You know, nature has everything we need, and it's the best stuff. It's pretty much better than anything you can buy because it's all natural. You know, the universe created it. That stuff you just saw me take, you know, where I comes off the tree, you know, I just grabbed it. It can be soaking wet. It doesn't even, you know, take the moisture. So it's just amazing. Everything is in nature. Everything that we need is in nature. Well, this has been a fun overnighter, real quick. And my phone is full, no more space. That's a clue when it tells you you're done. So I hope you enjoyed it and got some tips out of it. That's my goal, is just to share things that I've learned. You know, we're just sponges. And I learned it from someone, and now I try and share it with you. Catch you on the next one.